What's up, YouTube? DZen Trekker here. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good weekend, and I know the New Year's Eve probably wasn't what we're usually used to with the restrictions on group gatherings and all that, but hopefully you had a happy New Year anyway. So I'm just checking in here. I know I haven't done a video in a while. I'm going to try doing something new here. I'm going to try doing like some shorter videos on like a weekly, bi-weekly basis. Just like tips, thoughts, ideas, just whatever is on my mind on that particular week. And I don't know, hopefully it helps. Seems like there's a lot of new drivers that are subscribing to the channel, so that's really cool. And so I'm going to try to maybe like gear this more focused on newish drivers, like brand new drivers, new-ish drivers, just, you know, people who are, you know, considering options, that kind of thing. We'll see how it goes, see how you like it, and we'll kind of go from there. So today's topic, I kind of thought, and I've been thinking about it a little bit, is the idea that becoming a truck driver is harder than being a truck driver. So for those of you who've gone through like the whole process of getting your license, getting trained on the road, and kind of learning how to be a truck driver, you probably know this. I don't know, maybe you've had different experience than I have. Maybe you know, you kind of feel differently, and that's cool. I'm not here to tell you how it is. I'm just here to tell you like what my experience was, and you know, take what helps and ignore the rest. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to, you know, pop on the comment section and, you know, ask me questions, or I'll leave my email in the like in the information section, so you can email me directly if you want. But yeah, my experience is that becoming a truck driver is a lot harder than being a truck driver. So like the first step in terms of getting your CDL, first of all, like you got to decide, all right, how am I going to get my CDL? And there's a lot of different options. Like you could just go to some private school on your own, you pay for it, you train, take the test, and then once you get your license, you look for a job. The other way to do it, well, another way to do it is to sign on with with one of these mega carriers that either has a school, like Swift has like an in-house CDL school. I'm sure there are some others, but the one I went to was Swift. And it's not, you're not technically like in the company. Technically the school is separate from the company, but it's exclusively for drivers who got signed on by Swift. And Swift kind of pays your way through the school, and then you basically pay it back, you know, by signing a 1 or 2 year contract with them. And then if you leave early, then you owe them the balance of whatever your bill for the school was. The third way, at least that I know of, to do it is to sign on with a company. One company that does this is Schneider. They don't have their own CDL school, but they have CDL schools that they've approved, like they've pre-approved. And so you sign on with Schneider, and then you go to one of their pre-approved schools, and then they reimburse you for whatever the cost of the school is. So anyway, so I went to Swift, and if you look back at my original videos, you can like go through the whole friggin' story of Swift school. They actually had a really good school, and they actually had instructors in the school that were licensed by the state to do the testing. So we didn't have to go to DMV to do the road test. We actually took the road test on site with one of the instructors that was licensed by the state to do the test. And I got to tell you, man, like passing that CDL school was nerve-wracking. I mean, I'd never been in a truck in my life, let alone, you know, learn how to, you know, drive manual. I mean, I know how to drive a manual car, but it's a whole different ball game. So like, you know, I think I spent 3 weeks in the CDL school. I actually went 1 week early to study for the like for the written test, which looking back on it now, I could have done the written test on my own. They have like all these little apps that you can download to study for the test on your own, and the test is easy. Like if you have the app, you know, that helps you study for all the questions. But the 3-week training for the actual road test is not easy. And the main thing, like, you got to kind of wrap your head around is that you're not training to be a truck driver, you know, at CDL school. What you're training to do is you're basically training to pass the road test, period. That's the only goal of the school. What makes it hard is that you, at least for me, like, I didn't want to get the restriction on my license, like the auto restriction on my license. I wanted to be able to have all the options open to me. So I had to learn how to, like, you know, double clutch and, you know, drive a manual truck. We learned on a 10-speed. And the hardest thing for me was learning how to downshift. Once I got the downshifting down, the rest was, you know, pretty easy. And the biggest challenge for me on the actual road test, like all the pre-trip stuff, that's easy. It's just memorization. You just study and practice and go over it like a million times, like at the school, until you have it down. That part is pretty easy. The road test, like the actual driving, is pretty easy. You just got to remember all of the little safety things that you have to do, and you got to show the instructor that you're, you know, doing all the right safety things, you know, in terms of looking in your mirrors and making your turns properly and stopping at stop signs and traffic lights and, you know, following all of your road signs and all that kind of stuff. That was not bad. The hardest thing for me was the maneuvering. And, you know, the backing is really easy. There's basically 3 parts that CDL test. It's backing, parallel, and straight backing, offset backing, and then either parallel parking or like doing a 90-degree back into like a slot that's like staked out with orange cones. But for me, like the straight backing and the offset backing, like that, you get so much practice. It's super easy. But the parallel parking was hard. Like, I could do it in practice, and then once I got to the road test, like, I kind of like freaked out and messed it up. And it actually took me 2 times before to pass that part of the test. The nice thing is that if you pass like the first part of the test, you pass the pre-trip, and then you fail on the maneuvering, like, you don't have to do the pre-trip again. You just go back the second time and you start on the maneuvering. And then the road test was the 3rd part. But anyway, after that, like, once you go through all the friggin' nerve-wracking nonsense of actually getting your CDL, and my class, I had a class with, we started with over 30 drivers. And of the over 30 drivers that started at the school, 10 of us actually passed the test. So, I mean, it's not a walk in the park. And then, like, once you pass the test, you get your license, then you got to learn how to friggin' drive, man. And that's not a walk in the park either. And I would say it took me like a good 3 months, really, to like 2-3 months to really start feeling comfortable on the road. My first experience with a trainer, like, didn't go so well. I got off the guy's truck after 8 days just because it wasn't working for me. And then I went to Schneider. You can look back at those videos too to see like my whole experience. But the bottom line was, like, driving in mountains and weather and all that stuff. Like, for me at least, it was pretty overwhelming. But the thing is, like, if you stick with it and you're persistent and you just take things slowly and just, you know, use your head. Like with me, with my first trainer, you know, it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like the right situation for me. I was getting really, like, stressed out and overwhelmed. And, you know, after 8 days, I just got off the truck. So you got to, like, use some common sense. If you're not comfortable, get the hell out of there and go find a different way to do it. I ended up going to Schneider, doing a 2-week new driver training with them, like at one of their training facilities, and then going on the road, like on one of their regional, like one of their dedicated regional accounts. And that's how I really learned how to drive. The 2-week new driver training was awesome. Once I finished that, I felt really comfortable. And then I went out on the road for a week with a guy that was, like, basically showing me the account and teaching me everything about the account. Obviously helped me with the driving part. But that's kind of how I got through it. But it's not a walk in the park, man. Like the first 3 months is pretty harrowing. Like, driving a loaded trailer, like in the mountains and going down 6% grades with a loaded trailer. That's kind of scary when you first do it. But after you like just push through and just take it slow, take it safe, start getting comfortable, and just kind of work your way up, your comfort level. Like by 3 months, I was feeling pretty good. I mean, you still have a lot to learn. Like I've been driving now for 2 years and I still have stuff to learn. But I'm telling you, that first 3 months is the hardest part. Once you get through that and you get some miles under your belt, and you know what you're doing, and you have like all your safety protocols in place, like your pre-trip and, pre-trip in your trailer and all that kind of stuff. It gets easier. Once like you're comfortable driving, the actual job is easy. I mean, I guess it all depends on what job you have, but there's a lot of options out there. Like you just gotta push through. Like once you get 6 months experience, a lot more options open up to you. Like for me, once I got 6 months in, I was able to move over to this JB Hunt local intermodal gig, which I love. But like I said, once you get your 6 months in and you're really feeling confident and comfortable and safe with your driving, and you have that experience and you have the miles, then a lot of options open up to you, and you can do what it is that you want to do. Some people want to be over the road. Some people want to be regional dedicated, come home on weekends. Some people like me, want to go local, and be home every night. The money is different for each choice. The money is different for each company. Like I like JB Hunt because of the benefits, and the way that they treat us, and like the steady workflow. Other people like smaller companies just because it's more personal, and they don't feel like they're like part of a corporate bureaucracy or whatever. So like I said, a lot of things open up and you can figure out what you want to do. But that's it. I just wanted to get across to those new drivers that that first 3 to 6 months is the hardest part. Once you push through and once you get comfortable driving, once you get some experience and you have some options open up to you, man, it's way easier once you're a truck driver to just work. I don't know, hopefully that helps. Hopefully when you're going through like the really stressful part of learning how to drive at the very beginning and freaking out like on a really steep hill and it's raining, and just push through, man. Just slow down, go to speed that you're comfortable with and feel safe with, and just push through those hard times during that first 3 to 6 months, because once you get over that hump, things get a lot easier. So that's my thought for the week. Hope you like it, and I'll be back next week with another thought, idea, tip, or whatever. Peace.